Welcome back. Today we're going to be adding two extra features, that is modifying the to do as well as deleting the to do. So let's jump right in. So let's go to our source folder, and in our Java, if I can get that, we'll add two extra methods over here in our controller class. One's for deleting and one's for modifying. So let's start with modifying. So in order to modify my element, so I will need a put method. So I'm going to use a put mapping to endpoint called modify to do. Okay, and that's going to map to my function, which is going to return a string and object map. Okay, that says modify to do. Here I'm going to accept a user type, so I'm going to define that first. So in my beans I can go and define a data type that I want the request to come in. So let me just create a new file, and this is to do item modify request. Okay, .java. I need two parameters over here. First of all, I need my ID. I need to know which to do I am modifying, and I also need my modified name. Okay, so these two are the variables that I'll need. And let me just quickly generate the getters and setters for this. So getters and setters for both the variables generate, as well as the constructor for this bean. So let me just generate both the variables. Okay, so now since that bean is done, I can reference it over here. So this is a put mapping, so I'll have a request body. So there'll be a request body with the data type of to do item modify request, and that'll name my to do item modify request. Now inside this function, first of all I need to modify. In order to modify, I need to know which item I'm referencing to. So what I'll do is that I have my ID inside this request. So I'll pass through all the elements and I'll just select the one which has the right ID. So first of all, I'll pass by using a for loop, int I is equal to 0. Okay, so I less than to do items dot size, right? I plus plus. Now I can't just get the index because the ID might be different from the index. So let me just set up a condition, if condition. So if my to do items, right, if my to do items dot get the current index I dot get ID equal to do item modify request dot get ID. So if the requested ID is the ID of the to do item, I want to modify it. So what do I want to modify it? So I'll just get the element and I will set to do as the to do item modify request. Whichever to do is there in the request, I'll set it as that. Once that is done, I can go ahead and return a success. So I'll just use this success that I have returned over here. So I'll just reuse that, and there you have it. So my modify function is finished and my modify endpoint is ready. Now all I'll have to do is finish up with the delete endpoint. So in order for the delete endpoint, we are going to use a delete method in REST. So I'm going to say delete, and it has to come to the endpoint delete to do. Okay, and it's going to have a public with a return type of string and object. Okay, object. This is delete to do. And now the parameter here is basically an ID. So instead of request body, I'm going to have to go to request param. So request param is the parameters that you accept through the header. So the request param that I want is ID. So I need to pass my ID to delete my to do. So it's going to be an integer and it's going to be to do ID. So here what I'm going to do is that I'm simply going to pass through the to do items. So I less than to do items dot size I plus plus. Okay. Now if my to do items dot get I dot get id, if the id is same as the requested to do id to be deleted, all I have to do is to do items dot remove. I just want to remove that id from the list. And once that is done, I just want to return success, which is the same return as the above function. So there you have it. Both of our functions are done. Both of the endpoints are ready. The modify, we just pass, check if the ID is same as the requested ID, and we just set the to do. We modify the to do in that list for that particular element. For the delete, we accept the ID through request params. We pass and we check if the ID requested to be deleted is the element's ID, and then we just remove that element from the list. So both of the functions are ready now. Now let's test this. So in order to run our application, again we go to our main class and we hit run. So that Spring is booting up, and there you have it, our Spring is booted up. Now let's check if it is reflecting. So let me just go to local host get to dos in the get method, and let me just send that request. So certificate not this, so I think this should be HTTP, not HTTPS. So request aborted. Yeah, we got the response, and we don't have any to dos right now. So let me add a to do. Okay, so let me just go post method, add a to do. We don't need the ID for now. Okay, so to do is by an Apple. Let me just misspell Apple over there and just send. Let me get to do's and see if that is added successfully. So yes, that to do is added successfully with the mistake of Apple. So I want to modify that. So how do I do it? I send a put request and to the endpoint modify to do. Okay, this time I'll need to have an ID. So we knew the ID from before, it is 0, so we only have 1, so this is 0, and we'll modify it to buy an apple. So we'll send that. Okay, return success. Let me just check if that is reflecting, if the changes has been made. I'll send that, and there you go, the to do has been modified and the apple spelling is now correct. Now I want to delete this to do with the ID 0. All I have to do is send delete to do. Okay, I want to send a delete method request, rest request to delete to do endpoint, and I have to add the request param as ID, which is equal to 0. So 0 is my desired to do to be deleted, so I just add 0 ID as a request parameter in the URL. Okay, and I just send the request. So it's a success. Now let me just check if the to do has been deleted. Let me just send a get request over there, and there you go, it's empty. So the to do has been successfully deleted. So there you have it. We have created 4 method, which is basically the CRUD operation, the creating a to do, getting all the to dos, modifying the to do, as well as deleting the to do. So in the next video, we'll try to integrate this backend with a minimalistic front end, and we'll see it in action. If you found this tutorial helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.